often a cold shudder has run through me, and I have asked myself whether I may have not devoted myself to a fantasy. It is always advisable to perceive clearly our ignorance. We are not here concerned with hopes or fears, only with truth as far as our reason permits us to discover it. We are always slow in admitting any great change, of which we do not see the intermediate steps. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. Man in his arrogance thinks himself a great work, worthy of the interposition of a deity. More humble, and I believe truer, to consider him created from animals. There is no fundamental difference between man and animals in their ability to feel pleasure and pain, happiness and misery. Freedom of thought is best promoted by the gradual illumination of men's minds, which follows from the advance of science. I see no good reasons why the views given in this volume should shock the religious views of anyone. Nothing is easier than to admit in words the truth of the universal struggle for life, or more difficult, at least I have found it, so than constantly to bear this conclusion in mind. In the long history of humankind and animal kind, too, those who learned to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. Besides love and sympathy, animals exhibit other qualities connected with the social instincts, which in us would be called moral. Intelligence is based on how efficient a species became at doing the things they need to survive. We must, however, acknowledge, as it seems to me, that man with all his noble qualities still bears in his bodily frame the indelible stamp of his lowly origin. One general law, leading to the advancement of all organic beings, namely, multiply, vary, let the strongest live and the weakest die. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. The love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us, and I for one must be content to remain an agnostic. I am not apt to follow blindly the lead of other men. If the misery of the poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. If I had my life to live over again, I would have made a rule to read some poetry and listen to some music, at least once every week. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. It is those who know little not those who know much, who so positively assert that this, or that problem will never be solved by science. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside us.